Want to say hi to the people? Hello. Trying to film a video here. Thank you. It was a Hyundai Elanchback. Hi you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be bringing you the story of how I manifested my new car without even realizing it. So I am fairly new into this whole law of attraction manifestation thing, and what I have researched has told me that you are always manifesting things into your life, whether you realize it or not, whether you believe in the law of attraction, whether you've ever even heard of it or not, it is always working, and you've been manifesting things your entire life. Now, I know that might be kind of difficult to wrap your brain around because you immediately start to think, especially if you're in kind of a bad place or you're not exactly where you want to be in your life, you start to think, well, how did I manifest my car breaking down or, losing my job or whatever the case may be? You start thinking, I didn't ask for that to happen. How did I bring that into my life? But from everything that I've been researching, yeah, you did, by your thoughts. So, whether you're dwelling upon how much you hate your job, sitting there every single day saying, I hate this job, you manifested losing that job. It's like things like that. The universe can bring us things in totally different ways than we imagined. And where you focus your thoughts is where your life ends up. So, like I said, I'm going to tell you the story today of how I manifested a new car and I didn't even realize that I was doing it. And now it's only after this situation has happened that I realize what happened. And looking back on it, I'm thinking, okay, that was the law of attraction. It 100% was. I didn't even intend for this to happen, but it was the law of attraction working for me, really. So what had happened was about a year and a half ago, my boyfriend and I started talking about how I needed a new car. Now, I had bought a brand new car about 4 years ago. It's my very first brand new car that I ever purchased. I purchased it by myself. I was really proud of myself. Bought it brand new off the lot. But it was a small car, a small vehicle. It was a Hyundai Elantra hatchback. I bought it when I was single and, just kind of like living for myself, not really thinking too much ahead into the future. And I bought this vehicle, which, like I said, I worked very hard for and I was very proud of myself for doing. But about 6 months after I bought the vehicle, I met my current boyfriend. We ended up, creating a life together. We have a son now and we're planning on expanding our family. So after my son was born, we started thinking about how I'm going to need a larger vehicle eventually because this little vehicle was not good enough for even one kid. Like, it's very, very difficult to get everything into my vehicle that I need if I'm going anywhere. Like, we have a cabin and trying to get like camping supplies and everything in my vehicle along with my child. It's too much. So about a year ago, we were talking about possibly getting a new vehicle. Now, after I had my son, I decided not to go back to work, and my boyfriend makes a pretty good living for us. But of course, I still had my own bills on the side, which I was paying myself, and I have a side business on the side that I do like just part-time. I do nails and stuff like that. So I really wanted to keep, if I was going to be buying anything new, I wanted to keep my payments the same. I didn't really want to go much higher than they already were because I already was paying, in my opinion, enough a month for this vehicle. So we started kind of looking into it. My boyfriend's uncle works at a car dealership, and he had asked me how much I have owing on my vehicle still, and I think at the time I still owed about $16,000 on it. And he came back saying that unfortunately they would probably only be offering us maybe 10 to trade it in. So okay, so then plus we'd have to buy a larger vehicle, which would be more expensive to begin with. So not only would we be paying off our other loan because we wouldn't get enough to cover it if we traded it in, but we'd also have a more expensive car payment now. So at the time, just said, you know what, just forget about it. We're still fine with what we have right now. Yeah, it's a little tight, but we can make it work. It's not really until we have a second baby that we really need to start thinking about this and really need something bigger. So we just kind of shelved the idea. But throughout the time, you know, it's always been something that's kind of played on my mind, is that like I need a bigger vehicle. I'm going to need a bigger vehicle. I'm going to have to get a bigger vehicle here at some point, and, you know, kind of trying to think about it every once in a while. It was always kind of a topic that was in the back of my mind, even though we had shelved it. And I think the most important thing, looking back on the situation now, I think the most important thing was that when we decided that we weren't going to get one, it wasn't like a woe is me type of situation. It was just more of a, okay, you know what, this isn't happening right now. It is going to happen in the future. And that's the most important thing right there, saying it is going to happen in the future. But for right now, it's just not within our lifestyle right now. We're just going to shelve it for right now. We didn't, you know, get upset and say, oh, we can't afford this, or get mad about it, or, you know, like be upset about it. It was just, this is what it is right now, and we'll revisit it in the future, and eventually we will get a new vehicle. So fast forward now to probably about a month and a half ago now. Yeah, it's probably about a month and a half ago. We were going through an extreme cold snap here. I live in Canada, and I live in one of the colder provinces of Canada. So we get some very, very cold weather here. This particular morning, it was about minus 44, minus 43 in there. That's Celsius. So I have no idea what that is Fahrenheit. I'll put it right here on the screen if I remember. But yeah, so it was a very, very chilly morning, that's for sure. And I was getting ready to take my son to daycare. So I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I do have my son enrolled in daycare one morning a week, just so that he can go and make little friends and learn how to socialize and, you know, that sort of thing. So I take him one morning a week to daycare, and I was getting him ready to do so. So like I said, it was very, very cold, and we had a snowstorm a few days before this. So we live in a small town, and in our town, what they do when they come and remove the snow is they kind of like scrape it all to the middle of the road, and then after they've done all the scraping, then they come through afterwards and take all the snow away, if that makes sense. So they had scraped all the snow, and my daycare is literally on the same street as I am. So like it's across the street, like a half a block down. So I was going only about a half a block. But due to this snow being in the way, I wasn't able to turn at the place that I typically would have, and I had to end up going around the daycare in order to get to my destination because of that snow. So I'm taking a way that I typically wouldn't have had to take. And as I'm driving along, all of a sudden, we get hit. Somebody had ran a yield sign and had smashed into me on my front driver's side bumper. So everyone was okay. We were both going very, very slow because we were around the daycare. So luckily, we were both only going maybe 30 kilometers an hour, if that. But this other person hit us, and my bumper was pretty badly damaged. If I still have the picture, I'll insert it here and show you what my car looks like. Or looked like. Well, of course, I was more concerned because my son was in the car, but he was totally okay. He wasn't even crying or anything. Like, we were both totally fine. The other car was both totally fine. It was a man, and he had his son in the car as well. So yeah, so they had ran the yield sign and hit us. And like I said, this was just, I was going a way that I typically wouldn't even be going, so I shouldn't have even had that accident, and I was literally a half a block away from our house. So I didn't end up taking my son to daycare that morning because I was too shaken up. I was so like upset about having a car accident with my kid in the car. It was the first one that we've ever had. I had been in accidents before, but never with my son in the car. So I just came home, and I was like panicking and freaking out and crying and all that stuff. But so fast forward a little bit further, and we got in touch with our insurance agents, and we figured out where we're going to take my vehicle to get it appraised and whatnot. And that was like in my small little town here. So the owner of this shop calls me the next day after my accident, and he said, like, sorry to tell you this, but I'm actually going to be on holidays here, so I'm not going to be able to look at your vehicle for a week and a half. So I'm like, oh, okay. And at this point, I mean, I drove my car away from the scene of the accident, and I kind of like, I'd been using it kind of around town, like here and there, but I mean, definitely wasn't in the best of shape, that's for sure. But our insurance adjusters, they have adjusters that they send out that will like do kind of an appraisal on the outside damage, but then you have to take it to the shop to do the inside and whatnot. So I made that appointment, and I took it there. I took my car there and I had asked the adjuster, I said, you know, should I be getting my boyfriend to come and pick me up? Like, am I going to have to leave my vehicle here? And he kind of just like take a look outside and he was like, no, I think it'll be okay. I think you're okay to kind of bomb around town in it, but I probably wouldn't take it on the highway because it doesn't look like your hood is latched very well. So I'm like, okay. And I go and I sit inside and he's doing his thing. He's assessing the damage and he comes back in like a couple minutes later and he goes, actually, I think maybe you might want to get your boyfriend because there's actually way more damage here than I thought. I'm thinking, okay, like, you know, I assumed like it was the bumper and whatever, but I didn't think it was going to be that much damage. So he does his assessment and he comes back and he tells me that without even opening up the hood, there's $7,200 worth of damage to my vehicle, just outside damage. So, I mean, I was absolutely shocked, like, especially going that slow. Like, it just did not seem that my vehicle should have had that much damage to it. But that being said, like I said, it was extremely cold. And in those frigid temperatures, plastic on plastic, everything just shatters. So it just, when it's that cold, all bets are off. So I left my vehicle there, and our adjusters had asked me if I wanted a rental vehicle. But they informed me that apparently when you take the rental vehicle, they take that cost of that out of the money that they give you at the end. So say that they're going to pay $10,000 to repair your vehicle. If you take a rental vehicle for $1,000, well, now they're only going to pay $9,000 to fix your vehicle. Does that make sense? So, I mean, I didn't need a vehicle that bad. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I live in a really small town. Everything's within walking distance. And if it's not, my boyfriend's whole family lives here, so they can bring me stuff or whatever. So I was like, no, I don't need a rental vehicle. I'll be fine without one. But now hearing that there was $7,200 worth of damage, it was becoming a real possibility that my vehicle was going to be written off. So I kind of started panicking a little bit, because my boyfriend and I were looking into it and we were looking up like the black book market values for your vehicle. And we were looking online to kind of see what dealerships were selling my vehicle for. And I had called my loan company and I still had, $12,700 left owing on my vehicle. And everything that we were looking at was showing that our insurance company was probably going to be offering me about $6,000 for my vehicle, because that's what everything was going for that we were seeing. So I was starting to panic a little bit, because if they only offered me $6,000 and I still owed $12,000, almost $13,000, what the heck am I going to do? Because now I'm going to have to pay off this vehicle plus get a new vehicle. I can't afford that. We can't afford that. And I was going to have to go back to work. So I kind of like was starting to panic a little bit. And so I emailed my adjuster right away, and I kind of told her, like, listen, I'm starting to have extreme anxiety about this. This is what's going on. We still have to wait to see, you know, what the inner damage is. And I'm concerned that this vehicle is going to be written off. And she looks it up on her system and she says, you know, of course I can't give you an offer or anything right now because we're not sure if the vehicle is going to be written off or not. But I will tell you, just to kind of like give you some peace of mind, that if it does end up being written off, we will be offering you just under what you owe. So I'm like, oh, okay. Like, weird. Because everything that I'm seeing is telling me that they should be offering me way less than that. But I mean, I'm not going to kick a gift horse in the mouth. I'm just going to accept that, right? So I was like, okay. So I told that to my boyfriend. And then we started thinking, well, shoot, you know, maybe that would be the best option, is if it did get written off, because then, you know, we need a bigger vehicle anyway. And for trade-in, we're not going to get that much for it. So it almost would be better for it to be written off. So we started talking, you know, as if it was being written off. And we started looking at new vehicles. We went into the city, we went shopping for new vehicles, and we started test driving vehicles and looking for ones that were within our price range, and just hoping and praying that this vehicle was going to be written off at this point. On one of our kind of shopping trips, we ended up going to another small town just like about a half an hour away from us, kind of a sister small town to ours. And we went to a dealership over there, and we were dealing with this woman, and I ended up taking a test drive of the vehicle that I own now. And I really, really liked it. I fell in love with it. It was the same year as my vehicle. It's a Dodge Journey, so it's way bigger. It has like the fold down seats, like the third row seating. It was absolutely fully loaded. It's got like a DVD player in the back for my son. It's got navigation and like it just has everything, backup camera, everything. And so I was really, really excited, and it was definitely within our price range. It was about, the vehicle was about $15,000, which is really, really good price for that vehicle. And I started getting really excited, thinking like, oh my goodness, like this could be my car. This could be my car if my other car gets written off, you know? And so I took it for a test drive and I absolutely loved it. And as we're sitting there talking numbers and everything with our lady, we're letting her know that we don't even know yet if my vehicle is going to be written off, but this is kind of the situation. And she asks me, she says, so what are you driving right now? Like, did they give you a rental? And I was like, no. And I told her the story that I just told you guys about, how they take it out of the price. And she's like, I can't believe that. And I had never heard that either. So I was shocked at that too. So she's like, that's crazy. That's too bad. And she goes, just hang on a second. I'm going to go talk to my manager for a second. So she goes and talks to her manager, and you guys are not even going to believe this. Every single person that I've told about this, they can't believe it. And I can't even believe that this happened either. It's just, there's no rhyme or reason for this to happen. But she comes back and she tells me, my manager says that you can take it with you. I'm sorry, what? Like, take the car home with me? She's like, yeah, you don't have a vehicle right now. Like, you're a mom, you need a vehicle. Okay, like you're gonna let me take it home. Like, I live like a half an hour away from here, right? She's like, yeah, you can keep it. You're gonna find out about your car the next week, right? I'm like, yeah. She's like, yeah, you can keep it. Keep it for the week. Keep in touch with us, and we'll kind of go from there. So the car dealership let me take this vehicle home for a week's test drive. I'm sorry, what? What? Who does that? Dealerships do not do that. I've never heard of a dealership doing that before. I mean, granted, this is a small town, like, small town feel, small town mind, but really? So that was amazing. And that really, really helped to propel things forward, because as I'm driving this vehicle home and it's sitting in my driveway, for nights and nights on end, I start thinking of the vehicle as mine. And I'm like already saying, my car, my car, my car. And this is all before I even like started finding all this stuff out about the law of attraction. It's just something that I just kind of naturally did. And I started thinking of the vehicle as mine. And that is so important with the law of attraction, is to really visualize yourself in the situation that you want. And me having this vehicle for a week, just like, it made it that much easier, right? Like, I was acting as though it was my vehicle. I was going to get groceries in it. I was taking my son to daycare in it, etc. So the next week comes and I get an email from our adjuster, and they finally had everything looked at, and she comes back and she tells me that my car is repairable at $9,200 worth of damage, and they were willing to pay up to $10,500 to fix my vehicle. So anything over $10,500, they would have written it off. Anything under $10,500, they were going to fix it. So my vehicle came in repairable at $9,200 worth of damage. And my heart just sank because out in my driveway right now is this vehicle that's going to be perfect for me, perfect for our family, perfect for our future children, whether we decide to have one or two more, it's going to be perfect for us. So my heart just sank, and I looked at it and I was like, but that's my car. Like, I love that car. I don't want to go back to my little car, because now at this point I'm already used to having a bigger vehicle. I don't want to go backwards now. So I emailed her back and I said, I have concerns now about there being this much damage, because if I ever go to trade this vehicle in and, an accident worth almost $10,000 shows up on a Carfax report, I'm not going to get anything as a trade-in value, like they're just going to tell me to sell it on my own, and either I'm going to have to lie to somebody or I'm going to feel awful, telling them like, this is how much damage, like nobody's going to buy this vehicle after an accident that big. And so she calls me a few minutes later and she says, yes, she says, if you are requesting it to be written off at this point, we can do that, because the dollar amount is so close to where we would have written it off anyways. We can, if you're requesting that, we can write it off. So I was like, yay! I was so excited. So it all worked out and I was able to get the vehicle that I wanted. And I mean, one of the major reasons of why we didn't get a vehicle before the year before was price, right? I wanted to stay within the same price range of where I was with my car. And, going from a car into an SUV, obviously you're going to be paying a lot more. So, but we managed to find this vehicle that was what we needed, and it was within the same price range. So I think our payments a month are maybe like $10 more than they were for my car. And I'm getting, a way bigger vehicle with more add-ons, more options. So, but this is what I mean by the law of attraction bringing this to me, because now that this situation has worked itself out and I'm able to look back on it, I'm realizing that this should not have happened. Like, there's no way that this actually should have happened. First of all, me getting into the accident in the first place, I mean, it was so strange. Like, just the fact that it was that cold, that my vehicle would become that damaged after such a small collision. The fact that the collision was so small, like, nobody got hurt. My son didn't get hurt. I didn't get hurt. The other family didn't get hurt. It was just such a small collision. It should not have written off my car. And even the fact that I got into the collision in the first place, I was going a different way than I should have even been going. Like, I shouldn't have even been on that route in the first place. Just things were adding up in ways that I didn't understand and ways that I didn't think of in order to make this happen. Does that make sense? And that's the way the law of attraction works. You put out into the universe what it is that you want. So my boyfriend and I saying, we're going to get a bigger vehicle, in the future. We're not going to get it right now, but we're going to get a bigger vehicle. That was us putting in motion the law of attraction. And through saying that and through doing that, and even just like every once in a while, like going through my mind thinking, okay, I need a bigger vehicle. I'm going to get a bigger vehicle. Not stressing out about it, not freaking out about it, not being upset that it wasn't happening right that minute, but just trusting and just knowing that eventually, yeah, I was going to get a bigger vehicle. The universe just moves things out of your way and it brings you what you need. And that's what happened in this situation. Like I said, my vehicle even just the fact that our insurance company offered us that much money for my vehicle, when all was said and done, I ended up getting $1,000 more than what I owed on it. So I was able to put $1,000 down on my new vehicle. There is absolutely no way that they should have offered us that much for that car. It was absolutely insane. Like, all the research that we saw showed us getting less than half of what they actually ended up giving us. So it still makes no sense that they gave us that much. It really doesn't. But they did, because that is how the law of attraction worked. The law of attraction just made it happen for me. And that is how I ended up getting my new vehicle through the law of attraction without even trying. I didn't even know about the law of attraction when this all happened. It just is always working in ways that we can't understand. So that's why it is so important for you to really pay attention to your thoughts and to really just decide what you want, because I did this without even realizing it. Imagine what I can do now that I know about the law of attraction and I know how to manifest things. Imagine what we can all do when we're consciously putting the effort in, if I just did that without even thinking about it. It's pretty amazing. So you guys, that is the story of how I manifested my new car through the law of attraction without even realizing it. It is just so powerful, and I'm so excited now that I know about this, what my future is going to look like. So let me know in the comments down below what you've manifested with the law of attraction. Have you gotten things like, have you had a situation like mine where you are looking back and thinking, yeah, that was the law of attraction? Absolutely it was. Or have you like really put forth your conscious effort and manifested something? I want to know in the comments down below how you use the law of attraction to work for you. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video.